Good morning everyone and welcome to a brand new video of Fox Flicks on Prague Magic. Today we're going to check out as he turns more evolutions into brand new legendary beasts. Now if you're wondering why, it's because of the whole fan theory stating that the legendary beasts, Entei, Raikou, and Suicune were actually the original evolutions, Vaporeon, Flareon, and Jolteon. But since that's never really been found out in the games and it's only a theory, we can do stuff like this. So let's go!
A long-running theory amongst the Pokemon community is that Vaporeon, Flareon, and Jolteon were reincarnated into the legendary beasts by Ho-Oh. So that got me thinking, what if the other evolutions were reincarnated into legendary beasts? Hey everyone, Brandon here.
Hold on one moment, and we're back.
Legendary beasts have recently been thrust back into the spotlight with the introduction of their Paradox equivalents in the Indigo Disc DLC, which brought back up the concept for this video, which I admittedly have been sitting on for a while. So we'll start with the latest evolution, Sylveon, and work our way back. After being reincarnated, Sylveon becomes Mashu, the magic Pokemon, a pure fairy type, who I worked with Trainer Rex on, as well as for the rest of the beasts in this video, so make sure to check them out. They're super talented and their link is in the description.
Oh, hold on, before anything, let me do this. And there you go. Now you can actually see the person he's talking about. Trainer Rex. Okay, and
well, a few things to explain right off the bat. With this being a theory, obviously the beasts don't exactly reflect the evolutions, so we had that be the case with our interpretations, while still having some kind of reference to them in their design. With Mashu, we kept Sylveon's coloration intact for the most part. Another aspect of the legendary beasts, as explained by creator Muneo Saito, is that they are all based on different big cats. Raikou, a tiger, Entei, a lion, and Suicune, a leopard. Mashu follows suit, being based on a not-as-big cat, the caracal. These cats are found across Africa and East Asia, and they were culturally significant in ancient Egypt, with sculptures of them being thought to be guardians of the tombs of pharaohs. The wing-like shapes on the side of its body aren't actually wings, but bunched-up fur, meant to reference how fairies are generally winged creatures, but also can be tricksters at times. So Mashu tricks you with its fur into thinking that it can fly, but that extra fur acts as a form of extra padding for defense against flanking attacks. In combination with its partial Egyptian inspiration, it references sphinxes, mythical creatures that are part lion, part human, and sometimes winged. Though with Sylveon originally having a partial moon rabbit inspiration, it could also refer to Wolpertingers, rabbits with antlers and wings from Germanic folklore. The coloration also refers to another magical cat hailing from Celtic mythology, the cat She, a fairy creature which resembles a black cat with a single white tuft of fur on the chest that haunts the Scottish Highlands. Needless to say, Mashu is jam-packed with magical fairy inspiration, befitting of an emissary of that type. Speaking of its type, each of the legendary beasts used to have a hidden ability that had something to do with absorbing their type. While it is now just inner focus, I thought why not have some fun and make abilities that did the same thing for the other types. So let's just pretend these all conspicuously premiered in the generation their respective evolutions did. Thus Mashu would have premiered in Gen 6 and had the new ability, Counterspell, which raises Mashu's special attack when hit by a fairy move. Now on to its name.
Oop, hold on, we'll be right back. And we're back.
And let me tell you, I have never spent so much time coming up with a name as I did with these beasts. The originals have such a unique naming scheme. The legendary beasts each have a section of their name that makes up their type. En, Rai, and Sui. The other section is some kind of word meaning emperor, monarch, or royalty in general. But some kanji have a unique trick to them. They can be read two ways, called onyomi and kunyomi. Onyomi is derived from the Chinese way of saying the kanji, as that is where kanji originated, and kunyomi is the Japanese way of pronouncing them. The kanji for the beast's name are read in onyomi, which is intentional. With Entei and Raikou specifically, when you put their kanji of their names together, they form a reference to Yandi, the Flame Emperor, and Legong, a god of thunder, both from Chinese folklore or mythology.
That's cool.
So, as you can no doubt see, these names are deeply complex and layered, making them very difficult to replicate. I tried my best to retain the exact effect to little or no avail. There are only so many kanji for royalty, and not all of them have double meanings when paired together, though a few of these beasts I did manage to sneak in some. Mashu is not an example of this, though.
Probably would have to,
name comes from Ma, as in Maho, meaning magic, and Shu, meaning lord or master, basically coming together to mean the master of magic. Japanese is a bit more flexible when it comes to names combining kanji. I even had my natively Japanese sister-in-law and fluent brother glance over these names to make sure they were okay, and they both gave me the thumbs up. Mashu is absolutely the master of magic, though. Its mighty roar is set to open up a gate to another realm, one full of fairy Pokemon. Some have alleged there's a permanent gate open in Kalos and is where all fairy Pokemon come from, and that Mashu frequents this gate. That would make sense. Mashu is definitely one of the legendary beasts that puts an emphasis on luck.
Actually, that would only partly make sense, because if you also remember, a lot of Pokemon that were just basic normal type gained the fairy typing in that generation. So I guess it'd be more like the fairy magic is spilling out and causing the genetic chains in Pokemon. There you go.
Legends, as there are many swirling around it. And if you want to feel like a legendary beast of mobile gaming, then make sure to check out today's sponsor, Backbone.
And we're gonna have to take a cut, and we're back.
Let's get back to it. Next up,
To
we
the
have
beast.
Leafeon. When reincarnated, it becomes Shino, the jungle Pokemon, a pure grass type. The big cat that this Pokemon is inspired by is the Clouded Leopard, whose gorgeous camouflaging spots are reflected on Shino. Obviously, this means this beast prefers to take a quiet and stealthy approach to moving about, unlike the other roaming beasts, making it the most elusive of them all. I realize that makes two leopards for the beast, but for one, the Clouded Leopard is fairly biologically different than your average leopard, and for two, there are a limited amount of bigger cats that are different enough from each other to justify using them for these beasts. The aspect that Shino takes from Leafeon are those protruding leaf-like
I mean, you can only do what you can only do with how many there are.
portions on both, and the way the head crest is shaped to give off a similar feeling to Leafeon's leaf, and ears. Shino's name, I actually managed to sneak in some of those clever references like the original trio. Its name comes from Shin, like this kanji, which means God, with the kunyomi of it being the more recognizable Japanese word kami, playing a bit into the royalty or higher power part of the naming scheme. Shin can also come from this kanji, which means forest or woods. The no part comes from this kanji, meaning agriculture, but there is also this kanji, which also means no, meaning emperor. But when you combine the Shin kanji with the no kanji, in Chinese you get Shenong, a Chinese god of agriculture known as the Divine Farmer, who is known as the first Yan Emperor to become a deity, and is considered a cultural hero in both China and Vietnam. Though not exactly pronounced the same, the Japanese word Shino is a name for bamboo grass. I am very proud of how this name in particular came together.
That's a lot.
Layers and layers of meaning, which is the kind of depth I love and strive for. Shino's hidden ability is no secret and would quite naturally be Sap Sipper. Being as much of a recluse as they are, for Shino to make its presence known to you is one of the highest honors known to the Pokemon world. It is said long ago that Shino was a partner Pokemon to a trainer who brought agriculture to many desolate regions. From vibrant flora
Oop, hold on, we got another ad. And we're back.
to the icy cold tundra, we have Glaceon, who when reincarnated becomes Hyohi, the blizzard Pokemon, a pure ice type. The way Hyohi relates to Glaceon is through its coloration, though it also comes from its name. Hyo comes from the kanji for ice, whereas He comes from this kanji, which means queen or princess. So combined, its name essentially means Ice Queen. With Glaceon being one of the more feminine presenting evolutions, I felt this would be a good fit, and it also ties back to the dual-typed evolution Daimius that I made for it a few months back. The big cat that this beast takes from is mainly the Canadian lynx, with its big, meaty paws and fur that's well adapted to the cold.
Look at how fat
The
those
tail
things
portion is
are.
inspired by yet another cold-adapted big cat, and yet another leopard, the snow leopard, which
There
I
you
know
go.
makes 3 among these legendaries, but the same argument as the clouded leopard applies here, so I won't bother repeating it.
Leopard,
the word
leopard,
Hyo
leopard.
can also mean
Deal with
leopard,
it.
so with Hyo meaning both ice and leopard, it just fits way too well. Also, with both the Gen 4 evolutions turned beasts being partly based on leopards, I thought it matched nicely. Hyohi can generate an infinite supply of snow from its mane, using it to create fearsome blizzards as its category suggests, and it typically hides out in the Frostcap Mountains across the Pokemon world. Its hidden ability would have to be a new one that I have dubbed Flash Freeze, which powers up Ice-type moves if hit by one, a perfect mirror to Flash Fire. Now onto the Gen 2 evolutions, for which we will begin with Espeon. So after being reincarnated, it became Kenzu, the cerebral Pokemon, a pure
Dude, look at the tail! That thing is awesome! Like, if you want to chop that off, you could have one kill staff.
psychic type. This beast was absolutely built for speed, as it's based on a cheetah, which for those living under a rock is the fastest living land mammal. Something about the psychic type makes me think speed. It's probably just that, thought. The neurons firing at super fast speeds sending information through our body and mind. With Espeon having the second fastest speed stat of the evolutions, it also just worked out well. Speaking of, the twin tails of Espeon are notably present in Kenzu, but with the addition of a third tail, which comes together to take the shape of the Caduceus, the staff carried by Hermes, the incredibly speedy messenger of the gods, just like the super fast cheetah and the way the brain delivers messages to our body. You can also see the wings of the Caduceus in the crest of Kenzu. There is also the Egyptian goddess Mafdet, who is depicted with the head of a cheetah, who was a protector of sacred places and against poison. And would you look at what type Psychic is strong against? She was also the daughter to the sun god Ra, which fits in with Espeon being a daytime evolution, and is reflected in its tail, with the golden ball at the end being like the golden sun. Bring it back, Nintendo! Kenzu's
What's
name comes
Golden
from the
Sun?
kanji Ken, meaning wise, and the kanji Zu, which means head, as in the part of the body, but also as in the head of an operation or master. Because what is the head but not the master of your body? Kenzu can run as fast as they think. The faster their neurons fire, the quicker they become, making them the fastest roaming beast. Which leads well into
So, if you can get this thing to start overthinking, it could be faster than the Flash.
the hidden ability I created for it, Mind Meld, which raises the Pokemon's speed when hit by a Psychic-type move. On to Umbreon, who reincarnates into Onjo, the Night Pokemon,
Ooh.
a pure Dark type.
Okay, hold on. Before he even talks about it, first off, the moon, the tail is a crescent moon, and there's a full moon on the forehead. Love it already.
This category implies the element we kept from Umbreon was its moon or night theme, which comes from another inspiration we highlighted, the Aztec god Tezcatlipoca. He was a god of the night and darkness that could take the form of a jaguar, which quite naturally is the big cat Onjo is inspired by. Umbreon was so set up to be turned into a legendary beast, it's actually wild. About as wild as Onjo itself, which most definitely puts the beast in legendary beast. It is a ferocious Pokemon who does not like to be bothered. It roams around at night trying to avoid contact with other Pokemon or humans, with only the glow of the moons across its body able to be seen. Onjo's name comes from On, with this kanji meaning night, and Jo, meaning one superior or sovereign. Basically coming together to mean sovereign of the night. But the word Onjo also means night vision, which jaguars actually see better at night than during the day. Onjo's ability could be justified, but that doesn't make it immune like the others do, so this calls for a new one, Blue Moon, which restores Onjo's HP rather than taking damage from Dark-type moves. With Kenzu being very sun-themed and Onjo being very night-themed, they are a natural evolution of Espeon and Umbreon's day and night theming. Wait, you thought we were done?
Okay, hold on. Before we actually go on with this would actually be an incredible concept. Like, Eevee is the base form of all of them. Then you have the 9 that they become. Then, as he had pointed out, they have the dual-type evolutions that he created. So what if in some game, you could actually get the choice to, well, like he said in the dual-type evolution, the DNA is unstable. And by getting them to interact either with a certain place or item, they could either become the dual-type evolution or the legendary type evolution. I mean, not the legendary type evolution, the legendary evolution. You know what I mean. That would be incredible. That would make Eevee the first and possibly... Oh my god, that would just be... Boom. Oh, I'm sorry. I just threw myself for a loop.
Well, I know for a fact I would have received comments asking, what about Eevee? So, what about Eevee? When reincarnated, Eevee becomes EG, the Great Pokemon, a pure normal type. Okay, I got a little bit cheeky with the name here. The kanji for E means great, and G means child. When combined, it means great child. As well as the word Oji means prince, since this is the prince amongst kings. And all combined, it sounds like Eevee. The kind of cat this is based on is the jungle cat, which to me looks like a miniature liger, which plays well into the idea of Eevee, the EEVEELUTIONS, and the legendary beasts looking like a vague mix of mammals, and Eevee's unstable DNA. Speaking of, Ho-Oh reincarnating Eevee didn't exactly fix its unstable DNA, but actually enhanced it, making it so EG can transform into any type that it's about to use a move with. Also known as Protean or Libero, but in their original incarnations without limitation. Honestly, let's just give it a new name to avoid confusion. Princely Potential sounds good to me. EG is the smallest legendary beast, but some say the mightiest. It may not command the raw power of the other beasts, but it more than makes up for it in grit, determination, and a really cool ability. With this being the last video of 2023, I just wanted to say thanks and... wait, hold on. Let me just slip into something a bit more comfortable. Yep, and... that's better.
What the?
You know what they say, new year, new me. Thank you so very much.
Okay, hold on. Before we even finish off, 2 things. 1, I like that it's more animated. 2, it's kind of cartoonish. I mean, I'm not gonna hate on it. It's probably gonna take me like at least a week before I'm actually used to it. Get it? Because of how I record? Okay.
Very much for watching and supporting the channel, and I will see you all next year.
Well, folks, that's going to be the end of today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and I'll see all you folks next time when we flick on. Peace out.